Good afternoon. How is it going? I'm back. I am back once again. Um, yeah. Let's see. Microsoft just introduced a brand new framework for building agents that consolidates learning from. Hello, Gun. How are you? From AutoGen and Semantic Kernel. I'm going to try to get a handle on it by building an agent, by building an app to help me write. Yep. Nice video. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the one. That's kind of the first one in a series of videos. I think you remember me being on stream talking about it. Yeah. Uh, my one take videos. I know how to edit videos, like I know how to use DaVinci Resolve and stuff. Um, but I just don't want to invest all that time. So everything's just kind of a one take, turn on the camera and go. But yeah, appreciate it. Working, nice, very cool. Yeah, I'm done working for the day, so I'm gonna hang out here on stream and try to learn about this new agent framework, and then at some point, I'm gonna stop streaming. I'm basically gonna stream until either my mom shows up because she's coming to visit us, or my kids get home from school. One of those two things. But I decided to take the afternoon off. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, nice to have you here, man. Good to see you again. I was kind of debating. I was kind of debating if I was going to stream this afternoon, actually, because when I opened up YouTube, one of my favorite channels, my newest channels, is actually live right now. Right here, .NET Aspire. Oh, these guys are awesome. This technology's awesome. The team behind
Right.
it's awesome. But they're live right
We are
now,
having
and
to
so
manually synchronize.
uh, I was actually debating like, do I watch these guys or oh, shoot, I have the wrong display up. That's funny. You guys are just staring at OBS like, what is he talking about? How do I change this? Properties and display. There we go. That better? Nice. That's better. For sure. But yeah, I was kind of debating like, do I chill on stream or do I watch these guys stream? And I decided, well, their stream's recorded and I don't get many opportunities to do a long afternoon stream, so I'm gonna do that today. But you should go subscribe if you're in the .NET world. You should go subscribe to Aspire. I think the channel name's Aspire. What is it? It's aspire.dev. I think is the channel name. Yeah, here we go. I know there's so many of you here at the moment, but if you like .NET and C#, check out the Aspire channel. Yep. All right, what are we doing today? What we're doing today is we are. Hold on. I have too many thoughts running through my head all at the same time. Content, live, studio. All right, here we go. We're diving in now. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, hey, what's up, Dismal? How are you? For those of you that don't know, you might have already heard, but there is a new agent building framework out, and it is called Agent Framework. Good naming, right? I can tell you though, somebody in marketing or somebody in the dev division at Microsoft must have thought about this because this is great SEO, right? Like anybody goes looking for Googling for agent framework, they're gonna end up here somehow. Hello, Ducky Dev, how are you? I'm working on building your Next.js front end. Nice, very cool, man. Well, I'm just hanging out. Gonna try to learn a little, maybe build something for myself. Okay, yeah, so this is their new framework. This is basically, from what I understand, they had two existing frameworks or two existing libraries that were pretty popular for doing this kind of thing. They had Semantic Kernel, which I've used before, and they had something called AutoGen, which I have never used actually. And I think AutoGen might have been Python based. Yeah, I think this was all in Python. And then Semantic Kernel was C# and Python. But essentially, right, what I think is really awesome about this framework is essentially they're taking all their learnings, right, across those teams and those libraries, and they've probably done quite a few like real world implementation and consolidating it, which I love. So we're going to try to see if we can't get a handle. I don't know where we should start. Maybe just with this example, basic agent. Although they're always using Azure OpenAI, and I don't want to use Azure OpenAI. I think I want to use Gemini, so I might have to do a little bit of spelunking to figure out how to hook that up. Okay, let's create a project first. Hey Muaz, how are you? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Let's see, we're gonna go to agent. I think I made a directory already. Agent framework exploration. Yeah, there we go. And let's just make. Let's see, or actually, let's just do a console app. .NET new console out. Basic example. Yeah, that sounds fine. The naming doesn't matter. All this code is, I'm going to write all this code. I'm going to throw it all away. Let's see. Basic example. Let's go in here. All right. So we got that working. Let's open up another. Maybe we can split the pane. That might be the easiest way to do this. Split the pane down. Yeah. And then I forget, how do you switch between panes in terminal? Switch. Last tab. No. I want pane. Focus pane. Control Alt left. Help me remember that. Control Alt left is how we move between panes. Okay. So let's CD into Agent Framework. Hey, what's up, Tin? How are you? Good to see you, man. Gunheist, have you tried N8N already? I have not actually used N8N. I've just watched a lot of videos with it. And it looks like a very cool, powerful piece of software. It looks like a great kind of no-code, low-code tool. Yeah, looks awesome. Okay, so Control Alt left, and then we can say .NET, or actually we should CD into basic example. .NET run. All right, cool. Now we got that set up. So let's go back. Control Control left. It's gonna get ugly me switching between panes because I'm not gonna remember the shortcut. Same, bro. Same. uh, so where's the... Okay, this is the basic .NET example. So it looks like we have Azure OpenAI Client. So this is something that comes from one of their packages. I have create AI agent. That must be like an extension method. Let's do this one. Getting started. Basic agent creation and tool usage. Alright, so I'm going to copy this, but I need to make this work for Gemini, so we're going to have to do a little bit of research to figure out. I think, so I've worked with some of Microsoft's AI stuff before, and they have like a set of abstractions, and I'm guessing that we can leverage that for this purpose. So I'll set that there. So we basically just need to create an agent that's based on the Gemini API. So there's actually a .NET library out there. Actually, it's pretty brand new. It just got published not too long ago. It's called Gemini.net. Where is it? There you go, Gemini.net. That's what we're looking for. Project website. Yeah, this is the one I started. So this is some people that have actually implemented. They have a client for the Gemini API for C#, which is this package. But they have this package, which is basically taking Microsoft's abstractions, basically implementing their client against those abstractions, essentially, is what they've done. So we're going to use this package to talk to Gemini. Because it's this thing that we need. We need one of these. We need an iChat client is what we need. I tried it. I was working with Zapier, but their core is pain in the ass. So NAM might be a great substitute for this. Yeah, Zapier's fine. It's I did a bunch of research well, how long ago that had been almost 10 months ago. I did a bunch of research about 10 months ago for a project at work where I was looking at a bunch of like no code, low code tools that connect that basically allow you to move data, right, between whatever systems. And so I use Zapier quite a bit. And it's fine, but I will agree it's a little clunky. Like one of the things that is difficult in Zapier, I feel like, is when you start wanting to do like multi-path workflows. And then of course they make you they actually force you to pay at a certain point once you get a certain complexity. But I watched a Network Chuck. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Network Chuck. He did a video on NAN, and it was very good. Whenever I reference creators, I always like to kind of plug them. So Network Chuck, his channel's awesome. If you don't know about him, you should check out his channel. He's got a lot of good content. But he did a video on NAN. That was pretty good. But I've not used it myself. Yeah, you need to use NAN right now. It's pretty good. All right, back to which browser. Oh, this is Edge. Sorry, Muaz. I didn't mean to ignore your question. It's Edge. I use Edge. I use Edge because I like the vertical tab support. Which I don't know why Chrome. I mean, maybe they have. I guess I haven't checked in a while, but Edge supports that out of the box with like a click of a button, which I really enjoy. Yeah, Network Chuck's super nice guy. Super nice guy. Uh, okay, so we need this library. Actually, we need multiple libraries. We need this library, and then we also need this library, Microsoft Agents.ai. So we have the .NET. Let's disable read line because I don't know what's in there. .NET add package. So that will be our client. And then we also need the actual agent SDK. So we need .NET add package Microsoft.agents.ai, I think. Right? Yeah, agents.ai. Is it capitalized or lowercase? Does it matter? It's capitalized. I don't think it matters, but there we go. There are no. Oh, I need to use the pre-release flag. It's nice having all afternoon to stream. I don't have to rush through any of this. Really take my time. Edge is a very good browser, far better than Chrome. Great memory usage, fast embeds with Windows great, or embeds with Windows great. Got workspace, other great features. Yeah, I mean Edge is based on Chromium, right? So at this point, if you're using Edge or Chrome, you're really just, it's more like picking a Linux distro than anything at this point. The problem with Edge is no one has ever said just Bing it. Yeah, that's so true. And you know what's really, this is, okay, so this is something, for the most part, I'm not much of a Microsoft hater, but here's an example where somebody purposely did this. So when you install Edge, obviously one of the first things you do is you change the search from Bing, which is the default out of the box, to Google. Because, like, yeah. Because, yeah, we all know, right? It's just like Google's superior at this point. But in order to do that, you have to go to Settings. Then you have to go to, what is it? You have to go to here. So what is that? That's 2 clicks, I think. We're at 2 clicks now. Then at the very bottom, you have to 3 clicks. Now here, address bar and search, 4 clicks. And then you can change it. So what's that? It takes you 5 total clicks to change the default behavior of the search, which nobody can convince me that is not an intentional UX design. And now, if someone from Microsoft wants to call me and have a conversation about it and explain why it needs to be 5 clicks buried in the settings, I will happily listen. I'm always open to being educated. But yeah, it's pretty... That just doesn't feel good, right? Just me. I love avocados. Avocados are pretty good. Although, you can't really eat a whole one, can you? I mean, that's a lot of like oily, umami, fatty, mouthfeel flavored food. Boss, what are you Googling? Employee, I'm edging. No, it's more like, boss, what are you Googling? Employee, how to change the default search. Like, I wonder if that's actually something on Microsoft employee machines, you know? Like, can we find people who don't Bing? Or is it required that you Bing when you're a Microsoft employee? Who knows? Probably not, right? I mean, that'd be pretty crazy if it was. Did I think I installed it, didn't I? Yeah, I installed it. Okay. Arvin. Hello, Arvin. Good to see you again. Yeah, you can't eat whole avocado. Always start with swallowing the nut. I don't need you eat the center? No, you can't eat the center. I don't know. That's too much. That's too much fat in one go for me in an avocado personally. Okay. What are we doing here? Uh okay, so we don't this is not what we want. This is not going to be the API for us. So let's just comment that out. And let's just remember this is what they're doing. I think all these are just helper methods off of this Azure OpenAI client. I think these are all just helper methods to get to the correct type, or the subclass. Like I think create chat client returns an iChat client, and then create AI agent must return. But there must be ways to new those up. So let's create a Gemini client. They have an example here. Where is it? I don't want stream. I just want the client right here. So this is how we're going to copy. We're going to paste that in. And then we're going to need some musings, obviously. You want this guy. This guy. And this comes from the so this comes from the extensions.ai. So this is a library that Microsoft published after they had created semantic kernel, where they basically were trying to find a way for people to build packages against all these different like AI technologies, but have a common interface that they can plug into all their different tooling and frameworks, which is where the iChat client comes in. So we need to add that. So now just make this var. What else do we need here? We need the say model. We need an API key, don't we? Also, I need to create an editor config because I hate for indent. No, it's not destroy. Don't spread misinformation like that on the internet. All right. So we need to do some styling here. It's gonna be 2. It's gonna be 2. It's also yelling at me about the var thing, which I prefer var. I do not like explicit types. It's not that I don't like explicit types, I just, stylistically, I'm totally fine with types being implicit. And then the other thing I usually change is I usually change this one. Prefer conditional expression over return. I almost always turn this one off. False. Silence. And we should be able to reload now. And now it should stop yelling at me. Okay, so it's yelling at me because some of this stuff is not defined yet. So the API key, for example, we need to get that from configuration. So how are we going to do this? Let's add the hosting package. So .NET has a pretty great hosting model, in my opinion. So let's add the .NET. It's it's Microsoft.extensions.hosting, I think is the package. So this package has basically everything you need for hosting, but it also comes with dependency injection, configuration, all those nice extensions that you get when like you create a new minimal API project, you know? So then we can remove these because we don't need those. Actually, let's remove all this code now. I can always reference it on the GitHub if I need it. Okay, so API key. So we need that. So let's go var config equals copilot shut up. Disable copilot. Okay, new configuration, this one, builder. And then we'll say, what do we want to say? Add JSON file, like that. App settings.json. And then we'll also do, we're going to make this simple for ourselves. Set base path, we'll just set it to the directory dot get current working directory. That way I don't have to worry about copying it on build. So we'll have an app settings.json file. We will make a section. I just did this actually for another video. API key. I'll set that for now. Just API key like that. Go back to program. Build. All of this is just so that I don't paste a API key in my source code. All right, so now we can do config, and then we can just index into that. We can say Gemini API key like that, and we'll just say this does exist. Listen to me, compiler, it's there. Okay, so then now we have our client. So the thing with this is the important thing with this Gemini chat client, is if we go to the declaration for this, we should see, where is this? We should see somewhere in this file, I'm guessing it references, there we go. So somewhere in this file it should, or somewhere in here, they should implement the interface for app chat client, which is the thing that which is the interface that Microsoft provides that kind of plugs into all the things they, all the different, or at least plugs into semantic kernel and a lot of other things, and now plugs into the agent framework. So what that means is we should be able to go back to program.cs and we should be able to create an agent. So we just need to figure out how to create an agent. Let's go back here. Okay, so this, they're using the method that's called create AI agent, but that's not what I want. What I want is, or maybe I do want that, because that probably hangs off the chat client. So let's see. So can I do that? Let's see. Dot create AI agent. No, I guess not. Have using for, yeah, I have it using for all those things. Oh, I don't need this one anymore though. Oh, sorry, I thought that we have Ring cameras on the outside of our house, and which is great because then, you know, when I'm down here in the basement, I can see what's going on upstairs. But they're almost too sensitive to motion. So sometimes they tell me that there's a person at my front door, but it's literally just a person like we're walking by on the sidewalk. Okay, where are we? So we need to create an agent. So how do we do that? Let's see if I can find the definition for this. Open. Oh, this is only for the OpenAI assistant client. So it's only it's a specific method just for that. All right. So then how do I? Let's see. Maybe there's another sample here. Multi-turn conversation. That's kind okay. That's I know Microsoft has a vested interest in OpenAI. I know they host and provide that through Azure. Like I get all that. But they got to know their community doesn't just use OpenAI. Like their community is using other providers. Probably a large portion of their developer base is probably not all using. So it'd be really nice if they actually showed an example not with that setup. Oh my God, they're all that way. So how do I? Different agent providers? What does that mean? Oh, here we go. This was I'm bitching about it. I'm bitching that they don't have samples for other providers, and here we go. So let's look at agent with custom implementation. No, this isn't what I want. Agent with Ollama? What's this look like? Yeah, this is what I want. Okay, so here we go. So this is exactly what I want. So I have a client. In this case, they're using Ollama, the Ollama client, but this is still just an iChat client. So I want a new chat client agent. What's that look like? So this is a type that's coming from this framework. Chat client agent. Can I just like go to the file? I just want to go to the file. Oh, I'm already in the file. Sorry. I'm an idiot. Okay, so this is a file that takes a chat client. It can also take some options. And it takes a logger. Nice. So you probably have some logging. If you want to instrument this, you probably can. And then it also takes a service provider. I wonder why it takes a service provider. Where do they use the service provider at? It's kind of interesting. Service provider. Services. I'm not sure where they use this at. Like, why would this thing need to have why would this thing need to have a service provider? What does it do with it? Service provider. Oh, there's only two references on the page. So does it do anything with it? It doesn't look like it does anything with it. That's weird. All right, we're not gonna get distracted. Anyway, we'll go back to the example. Where's the example? Crap, I got completely distracted. I want to go back. Well, I've lost my way. Agent provider samples. That's where I was, right? Yeah. Okay, Ollama. So we basically need to, what do we need to do? We basically need to, obviously we have our client, and then we just need to new one of these up. So let's do that. Do that down here. If that method doesn't exist, let's get rid of that. Var agent. Yep, and then this is going to take our client. And now I think everyone's happy, right? Name agent does not exist. That's not true, is it? It's right there. It's right up above. Why What does it mean it doesn't exist? There we go. Huh, that's weird. For whatever reason. We're gonna restart. When in doubt, just restart. Okay, let's see what happens when the LSP attaches. Alright, everyone's happy now, right? Oh wow, we have a lot of errors. Okay, let's just fix all these real quick. Remove unnecessary usings. Fix name violations here. Which honestly, someone would probably argue with me on that. Fix formatting. Oh, this is because it wants a space. We can delete that. Arvin, is my chat bugged again? No, your chat's... I don't think your chat's bugged. I just don't think anyone's talking in chat. So it's just a nice quiet stream, you know? Nice quiet afternoon. Alright, so if I now put a key in here, which I'm going to do off screen, we should be able to run this sucker and make it work. Let's see, put that on my default project. What do I want to call this key? Let's just call this key Agent Framework Exploration, because I'll just reuse this key for everything for now till I figure out exactly how to work with this thing. My idea of what I want to build, the idea that I have is I really like to write blogs. However, I find the blank page very intimidating. And so I have this idea, sort of like with my Stream Shorts project, where I basically have myself kind of what is like my own little AI editor, like video editor, or I guess clip editor. I would really like to have sort of my own AI ghostwriter, where maybe I can give the AI like a post from Blue Sky or an idea from a video or something and have it sort of do like an initial draft or expansion of that idea. And then I can use that to like whittle it down and modify it. But at least that way I'm not starting from like a blank page every time. So that's kind of the thing I have envisioned building with this framework, just to one, to learn the framework, and then two, to have something that's useful to me. Okay. Sorry, I put the key in. Oh, that's not what I want. I tell you what, streaming and dealing with secrets is kind of stressful. If you leak a secret in a video, it's not really a big deal, because if you leak it in a video, you can just rotate it, like, and then when you post the video, it's not a big deal. Secrets on a stream are a little different, because the minute you leak it, you almost have to immediately go and rotate it. Somebody, I don't know. How do you fix that? How would you build something that solves that for streamers? It's kind of a niche audience, right? Like people who stream software development, who might leak secrets. Yeah, it's kind of a niche audience. In any event, I have my key set now. So, I'm hoping if we run this should work. It should tell us a joke. So let's run it. .NET run. Nice. Oh, perfect. Yeah. And so this is the stream variation. So it's using this run streaming async call. Arvin, I just grinded 6.5 hours of learning to code today. I'm almost going mad. Dude, 6.5 hours is a long time to sit and learn. It's not like a crazy long time if you're just building something, but to sit and learn for 6.5 hours, that's long. Okay, so what if I just wanted... Oh, okay, so this right here, this is the streaming one. This is the streaming, and this is the non-streaming, I think. God, they made the streaming really, that's really ergonomic, really nice, like ergonomic, like developer experience. So if I just do await run async, yeah, okay, that's what that is. Okay, so cool. Okay, so this chat client though is their agent. They've implemented this agent themselves. So if we go back to some of their examples, what does it look to implement your own agent? Or is the chat client really your only agent that you're gonna use? I can't imagine that's the only. JT Redlock's back. Please go rush impression. I have not even watched one of those videos, man, since this morning, so. Arvin, I was just about to say that. I had days I coded projects for like 12 hours, but learning by reading books really gets on my ADHD nerves. Yeah, it just requires a lot of focus, right? And then I mean, by definition when you're learning, you're not just like when you're coding, like you kind of have like when you're trying to build something, you most of the time you sort of have an idea of what you're going to do, and you're sort of staying most of the time you're sort of staying within the bounds of your existing knowledge base and skill set, right? Maybe you're bumping up against the edges sometimes, but when you're sitting down to learn, like by definition, you're sort of like stretching yourself, right, mentally, and it takes a lot to sustain that for a period of time. Call the agent. Let's just say call the agent and check if there are any user input requests to handle. Oh, this is the non-streaming version. This is for streaming down here. So ask the user to approve each function call request. For simplicity, we are assuming oh, this under here is for streaming use. So await, run streaming async, you get your updates. Ask the user to approve each function call result. Pass the user input responses back to the agent for further processing. That's kind of an interesting concept. They actually have a built-in concept for user input requests. Maybe that, I don't know, maybe that's also in semantic kernel. It's been a while since I've... Well, okay, what am I trying to think? What am I trying to look at here? I'm trying to look at what it looks like to implement an agent that isn't a chat client agent. That's what I'm trying to look at. I think all of these use the chat client. Okay, we're gonna have to go to a different repo because all of these look like they're using... agents. Like, what makes an agent different? Like, I guess what makes an agent different than the chat client? That's what I'm trying to get at, I think. This is all super new. Let's see, chat client. So this is an AI agent. So can we, let's go to that file. This is an abstract class, but people can implement it. It's got some messages for getting services, for getting a new thread, for deserializing that thread. So thread, also the important thing, I got confused about this when I was looking at this initially. When they're saying thread here in this context, they don't mean like thread, like computer thread. They mean like thread, like conversation thread is what they mean. That was super confusing to me at first. Okay, so this is just an abstract thing that has all these methods. So it's almost like the agent. An agent, conceptually, it looks like an agent is some sort of client, chat client, with a conversation. Conceptually is how they. Well, let's read this. Serves as a foundational class for implementing AI agents that can participate in conversations and process user requests. An agent instance may participate in multiple concurrent conversations, and each conversation may involve multiple agents working together. Okay. So let's look at. This is the chat client agent. This thing kind of sits at the core of all this, huh? So I wonder why you would implement your own agent. Like, why would you implement a non-chat client agent? Oh, here's the OpenTelemetry agent. This is what they call a delegating agent. So what does that mean? Oh, okay. Yeah. And this is an OpenTelemetry chat client, which probably, again, it implements the iChat client interface. What is a delegating agent? Let's see. Provides an abstract-based class for AI agents that delegate operations to an inner agent instance while allowing for extensibility and customization. So it's kind of like a decorator. Okay. Okay. Hey, what's up, Suas? How are you? Interesting that support multiple agents and that they refactored the LM name to agent. Yeah. Let's see. Black Business Directory. Hello. How are you doing? Sorry I'm late. Can you give me a catch up? Everything what happened until now? Really nothing. Suas, nothing like crazy has happened till now. Let's see. At this point, I'm just basically stepping through this new framework that Microsoft published called the Agent Framework is the name of it. If you're curious, here's the repo. They have a Python and they have a Python, they have a .NET SDK for it. And so far it looks pretty cool. I'm just kind of scratching the surface of it at this point. Shudo, yes, no problem. Let's go back roughly 14 billion years. There was a large Shido, that I like your sarcasm. I like it. The output space should be reasonable to the input now that you think about function calling. Oh no, I'm not misunderstanding LLMs at all, Suas. This is complete. This agent framework has nothing to do. I don't know why learning this framework has anything to do with me misunderstanding what LLMs are. Uh, I'm just trying to understand the architecture of this framework. Like, how do they? Because right now there's basically two things. There's a client, which is the thing that's dealing with the direct interaction with the LLM, and then they have this idea of an agent, which is an abstraction that accepts these clients um, as a dependency. And so I'm trying to figure out like how you would use this, how you would implement agents that aren't managing a conversation. Like, why else would you? They provide a chat agent, so why would you ever implement your own version of that? That's what I'm kind of looking for, is an example of why somebody would implement. I guess this is a good example where um, you're using a delegating agent though. Where would this be referenced in someplace else? So they have an open telemetry agent, and they have a chat client agent that's in this library. Interesting, interesting. All right, what else? Let's go back to the examples again. Let's see, getting started. Oh, my bad. I should not. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm okay with you. I wasn't misunderstanding anything. I understand how LLMs work and understand that like they just transform any text. I just where they take in text and predict text. It's just I'm trying to understand how this particular library works. I guess let's try this multi-turn conversation next. So we've got a simple single turn working. Let's try a multi-turn. Oh, they're just sending more than one pass into it. Okay, so how do we do like user input to this? How would we like give input in a conversation? Do they have some sort of like memory? Getting started. Agent provider, agent with OpenAI. I don't care about that. Workflow. Maybe this is foundational concepts. Start here. Please begin with the foundational samples in order. These three samples introduce the core concepts of executors, edges, and agents in workflows, streaming, and workflow construction. Oh, this looks kind of okay. This is kind of cool. This might be actually where I end up. So this is like defining multiple agents, and then this is a kind of a. This is yeah okay. This might be where I end up actually building. Start with the foundational. Okay, executors and edges. Interesting. So this sample introduces the concepts of executors and edges in a workflow. Workflows are built from executors. These are processing units connected by edges. These are data flow paths. Okay, so this is like, if we go to our Excalidraw here, they're saying basically an executor is something that processes data, right? So you get, what the heck? This is like here. And then this is Yeah, okay, so this is basically, we have an executor here, and then an edge here, and then an executor there. That's basically what they're trying to say. So in this example, we create a simple text processing pipeline that takes input text and converts it to uppercase using an uppercase executor. And then you have a reverse text executor, which takes the uppercase and reverses it. Oh, they even have like a workflow builder class. That's nice. Yeah, that's really nice. So you add your edge. So your edge is that dotted line between the two executors. What's this? With output from. What is that? I wonder what that does. Okay, it registers executors as an output source. Executors can use the iWorkflow context.yield output sync to yield values. By default, message handlers with a non-void return type. By default, message handlers with a non-void return type will also be yielded, unless the auto yield output handler result object is set to false. Okay, I think I need to try this sample. Yeah? I think I need to try this sample real quick. If, okay, so then you run this loop. Okay, so you start running. You start your workflow, you take this text in, and then you get a run back. And then and then that run event has all the events. So where does the events come from? I guess it's just the very end of the run, I guess, huh? It must by default emit that event by default. Okay, interesting. Joe does AI, sir. What camera do you use? I use, so this is, Joe, I can show you that real quick. I use a Sony A6500. So it's kind of an older camera. Yeah, this guy, I think. Yep. So it's an older camera. I brought this in 2019. So it's an older camera. It's crazy how I don't think I paid this much though for it. I don't even remember what I paid for it. I guess I could. Hold on, let me take a look at my order. View order. I paid I paid $889 for it. $889 is what I paid for it. But that was because it was just the body, I think. Oh no, this is just the body too. Holy shit, I don't know why this is more expensive. Is something better about this newer version? I don't know why this camera is much more expensive than the day I bought it. Yeah, so I use this camera, and then the lens I use is a Sigma 30mm lens. This guy. This is the lens I use. I also sometimes will switch out to use the Sony E-mount. I think it's 18 to 135, this one. Sometimes I'll switch out and use this lens. No, not 18 to 135. It's 16 to 105. Oops, 16 to 105. It's this one, yeah, it's this one. This kind of barreled body looking lens. But I honestly don't think I get like the full quality of the camera because it's connected over a cable using some Sony webcam software. So I don't think the resolution is as great as it probably could be if I used like a capture card or something. But It's good enough. Let's see. Where was I here? I missed a bunch of messages. How does this differentiate itself from LangChain and N8N? I think it's in a similar vein. It's just LangChain doesn't have a .NET version, and N8N's a no-code piece of software. I don't get it. Why would I use whatever Microsoft came up with instead of open source and highly available launching? In lines and development is really good though. Yeah, I mean this is open source. So you would look at this framework if you're like me. If you're a .NET developer who loves writing C# and you want a nice, convenient framework that allows you to implement agents and agentic workflows without having to implement all the boilerplate logic that comes along with it, especially because Microsoft provides that common level of abstraction. So you could have a Gemini, you could, as a customer, right, or as a business, you could use Gemini, you could use Anthropic, you could use OpenAI, you could use them all together without having to always refactor your code because you just implement them against a common interface. So, is there a Google agent thing? There is a .NET client for Gemini, and then you implement that against Microsoft's abstraction, which is an iChat client abstraction. Wilo Gamer Bro. What the Sigma? Good reference. Good reference. EDL, what do you think of the newer generation? What do you mean newer generation? Like newer generation of Sony cameras? Is that what you mean? A little sidetrack. Do you think in what is that? In shit I don't know what that word is a thing. The quality of product decreased, like a refrigerator, but my grandpa bought still runs today. Oh yeah, planned obsolescence is for sure a thing. Like that's definitely a thing, 100%. But the refrigerator, my uncle. Yeah, I mean, I do think like they don't make things as well as they probably could or did at one point. EDL, newer generation of people. I don't have any. I mean, they're just people. I'm not one of those like. I kind of chafe at when we try to group people into generations. Like, I understand the time in which you grow up and the time at which you age does impact you. The thing is, though, I think people are people, and so I think in most cases, a lot of human history is just repeating itself over and over again. People call millennials entitled, but I think there's a lot of similarities between the engagement and political activism of the millennial generation and what you saw like in the 1960s and 70s. So I think people are less defined by generation and more defined by age group. Like I think 20-year-olds in 1930 probably have a lot of commonalities with 20-year-olds in 2025. I think teenagers in 2025 probably have a lot of commonalities with teenagers in 1985. I just don't think people are that drastically different. I know we like to color generations with stereotypes. It's easy for the human brain to have labels and categorize things, but I think there's lazy people in my generation. There's lazy people in the boomer generation. There's lazy people in the Gen Alpha generation. There'll be lazy people in my son's generation. It's just the way of the world. I guess that's what I think. Brawl MMA. Are you done with your project where you wanted to create an alarm system if your boys forgot flushing? Oh well, I've never built it. I've never built it. I think it would be fun to build. I honestly, it's one of those things where I've not done anything with hardware before, so I'm not 100% certain where to start really. And so I need to kind of sit and go down a rabbit hole of like, what's a good what would I use for the sensor? What would I hook that up to? Like, would I use a Raspberry Pi or some sort of Arduino? Yeah, I need to sit down and apply some time and brain power to it, and I just haven't. What if we? So I'm thinking, can we? Let's try to invert this. So in order to drive this concept home that they have here, this idea of edge and executor, why don't we re-implement this but invert it? So what we'll do is we'll take a reversed word, we will inverse it, we'll put it right. We'll take a backwards word, we'll put it right, and then we'll lowercase it. How about that? So I'm going to set this over to the side real quick, and let's see if we can't make that work. So let's just what do we want to do? Do I want to start a new yeah, let's start a new project. So let's go into .NET new console out basic workflow. And let's go into that basic workflow. Whoops, not basic example. Basic workflow, and then let's copy our editor config from the basic example to here. And let's also, what else do we have over there? We basically need to add those packages, but I'm just going to copy and paste them instead of .NET installing them. So we'll say this, and we'll just grab all these guys. Actually, I don't even think I need all these. I think I only need 2 of them, or 1 of them. I think I can remove, I don't think I need this guy yet, because I'm not actually talking to an LLM. Okay, so at this point, what do we need to do here? We need to implement our stuff. So what we can do is we will make... I don't even know what to call this stuff. Bro, I think it can be done using sensors only. Yeah, I don't know what sensors could I talk to. Like, are there like network connected sensors? Hello, Muaz. Good to see you. Well, I'm Gen Alpha, and I kind of agree. I'm not one of those iPad kids or anything that people think I am in real life. Well, yeah, because they're caricatures, right? Like, I'm an iPad kid. I mean, I always have my iPad with me, and I'm 32. So it's just their caricatures, man. You can't listen to what people say about a generation if you're about that. If you're a part of that generation and people are shitting on your generation, like, you just got to roll your eyes and move on. Because again, that's humanity playing out. Old people always shit on younger people. That's you know, in 1920s, people that were born in 1880, they were shitting on the kids of the day, right? Just that's just old people like to talk shit about young people. You know, old people always had it harder. Young people always have it easier. Like, it's just the way of the world. See, I just started posting on LinkedIn where I shared how to set up a CI/CD using Snowflake and Azure DevOps. Would really appreciate if you could repost it. Sure, I can repost it for you here. LinkedIn. What's your LinkedIn? Is this Kazim? Brawl MMA? Is this Kazim? You're just using your other handle there. Steven, what is your thoughts on how to connect an LLM to something like a body, maybe in a simulation, maybe a little body? Connecting an LLM to like a biolog, I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't seem possible at the moment. Let's see, Noku. To be fair, younger kids nowadays truly will cause civilization to go extinct. Oh, Noku. I don't know about that, man. I was like, yeah, but fair enough. That's definitely how people. That's how every generation experiences the next generation. Kazim. I think this is you. Yeah, I don't know. If you send me Kazim or Brawl MMA, if you either join my Discord, I'm not gonna be able to find it surfing around on LinkedIn. But if you send me the post, I'll be happy to repost it for you. I'll be happy to take care of it. You can just join my Discord. My Discord's here. Oh, you just sent me a LinkedIn message. Yeah, I'll be happy to share it. I've been distracted now. There you go, man. Hold on, where did it go? Nice. I reposted it. There you go. No, let's see. I'm at. Hold on. I missed something, didn't I? They will skibbity toilet the Riz into the extinction of the species. Yeah. I don't know. I just think humans are humans, man. Humans are humans. All right. So okay. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna implement a sealed class called text corrector executor. Okay, so this needs to implement a particular interface. Oh, it actually implements two interfaces. So it has to implement a reflecting executor. That's quite a name there. Reverse. Oh no, this is going to be text corrector executor, like this. And we're going to need a using for that. I think that comes from using Microsoft.ai or agents.ai workflows. Oh, that's not going to build because I'm an idiot. console.writeLine. Hello world. Also, Copilot, stop. Ah, man. I've been coding for the last like 3 weeks without Copilot, and now whenever Copilot jumps in, I get super annoyed. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Then we'll go back in here. Now we should hopefully pick up on the fact that we have those packages. Oh, no, I don't have that package. That's why. So I need to .ai.workflows. I think is the name of it. Okay, so we're gonna go comment this. So what does this implement? So if I was just implementing this type, what does it implement? Does it not implement anything? Or I guess I don't have to implement anything. I can probably override stuff, but I don't have to implement anything. And then I also have to implement some, they call this an iMessage handler. And this has a type associated with it, which I believe it has the type that your handle method expects to receive, which in this case would be a string, and then the type it expects to return, which is a string as well. And this, though, needs to be implemented. Why is this complaining? There is no argument given that corresponds to the required parameter of ID. Ah, so this reflecting executor has a base constructor that requires you to pass it an ID. In which case, I think I can do that by just going like this and saying text corrector. I thought I disabled Copilot. Did I not do that? Oh, I think I closed NeoVim and reopened it. Oh. Is that not right? Oh, that's because I need to use a primary constructor here as well. Okay, so we're expecting that an incorrect word just needs to be reversed. So we'll just say return string dot concat, I think, right? Message dot reverse. This is exactly the same code they wrote. Use it. Hold on, what? Cannot implicitly convert from type. Why not? To task string? Is that true? I thought it's a value task you can return a string. Huh. Did not know that. Yeah, you're welcome, bro. Of course, man. I'm happy to try to help other people out, spread their content if they need some help. Although not that my LinkedIn following is very big. Like one person may see it, but happy to try to help you out. Have you guys ever seen the So back in the day, there were these Facebook groups where people would join, like people who are wanting to try to join, like build their social media. I'm guessing they still probably exist. People who are wanting to build their social media, and you'd like join these Facebook groups, and then everybody would agree. It would be like 400 or 500 people, and everybody would agree that they would all like repost, share, like, comment each other's stuff to try to like help game the algorithms that were driven off of like interaction, which I thought was just such a, I don't know. I mean, it's a strategy, I guess. I mean, You're trying to take, you're trying to take it seriously. You're trying to game the system, make money off of it. I guess, might as well try whatever you can. So I don't understand why I can't return a string for a value task type of string. Value task C#. Return string or return string. I'm gonna ask Gemini. Let's see. In C#, if my return type is a value task of type string, can I also return just a string without any awaiting? I thought you could do that. Huh. I guess you can't. So what? Do I have to do like task from result to make it happy? Task dot from result. What did I just do? Oh. Task dot from result. But that's still not going to be happy. And there's no such thing as is there a value task? Oh, there we go. Huh. I guess I didn't know that was something that you couldn't do. Okay, so this is your text corrector executor, and then we also need our text sealed. We need our lower case executor or something like that. I'll just copy some of this. So this also takes a string and returns a string, but this guy's going to be called our lowercase executor. And then we just need to add the body. We need to implement. Top level statements must precede namespace and type declaration. What? It does, right? Oh, shit, sorry. That's what happens when you copy and paste stuff. Okay, and this guy's just gonna do return value task dot from results, and you are gonna return message dot to lower invariant, like that. Okay, so those are my executors. Those are my data processor nodes of my graph or my workflow. And then this is where I need to define my workflow. So I say workflow equals new workflow builder. And what does this need? Oh, this needs the starting executor. So this is the first guy I think in the chain. in which case will be our text corrector. Oh, we need to new those up too. So we'll say var text corrector equals new text corrector executor, and then we'll have var lowercase executor equals new lowercase. And I'm guessing a lot of this, probably all of this newing up, like you could probably wire all this up to dependency injection and just have this all resolved out of the container, but you know, for samples and stuff, there's no need for all that. Busy Slim, you should put that code editing window above. Can't see it. Oh, that's a good point. I was editing up here at the top. That's a good point. I keep forgetting that chat's down below. Yeah, I was just running code down below here. So let's go back up to the top one. Thank you for calling that out, man. I appreciate that. We were originally in the top, and then I don't know. Somehow we made our way to the bottom. I've also had people tell me that I should put my camera on the bottom, but I kind of like it on the top. But I did set up a scene that I can switch between that moves the camera to the bottom when necessary. Okay, so let's go back in here. Butters, Busy Slim, top man, easy to do. I also like your username, the alleged AI bot. Do people really allege that you're an AI bot? All right. So we have our executors. So the first one is going to be our text corrector. Oh, that's interesting. Copilot thinks there's a then method. Hold on. Hallucination. Sorry, I just want to take a screenshot of this. I always like to capture good hallucinations. But this is a good example where when you're working with like a new SDK like this, or a new library, I should say, not SDK, a new library, you can't rely on the existing knowledge in the model's weights to be very helpful, right? So you're going to have to really rely heavily on the context for Copilot to give you really good predictions, or it's just going to lead you completely astray. You know, it's a really good thing to keep in the back of your mind. It's like, okay, so when did this library or when did this code get introduced into the world, and when was the last time the weights for the model that I'm using actually get updated? And therefore you probably are going to have to rely more on context stuffing or context engineering to really get good completions out of the LM. It's kind of an interesting thing I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. It was a joke on a channel I go in once, so I adopted for fun. Nice. It's like kind of like a troll, huh? I like that. The right API here is add edge. So this is kind of interesting. So you can actually add things sequentially too, right? So so add edge adds a directed edge from the specified source executor to the target, or you can do a chain. So if you were going to do something that's sequential, probably. Let's add the edge for now. So the edge goes from text corrector to the lowercase executor, and then we build. However, if we look back at that example we were looking at earlier, you'll notice they add this on the end with output. So I'm curious, if I leave this off, will I get any output? I'm thinking that this controls this. When I read the dot comment for that method, it basically said it controls what executors can yield outputs. So let's build, and then now we'll run this. So we say var run equals await. Okay, this is kind of interesting. There's a static member called in process execution. Provides, oh shoot, in process execution. Let's read about this guy. Okay, this provides methods to initiate and manage in-process workflow executions supporting both streaming and non-streaming modes with asynchronous operations. So I wonder why this is necessary. So you have to pass your workflow in here to create an in-process runner. And there's something called a checkpoint manager. What's that? What's a checkpoint manager? See, there's all these classes in here that you probably can leverage to do a lot of cool complex high level or low level, things with agents and workflows, but you probably won't learn about it till you need it. It's that kind of a thing. Or you have to go actually explicitly read about them. Okay, let's go back to the program. So this is going to be, we're going to do, oh, interesting. They have methods for resuming, running. They have a method for streaming. So we're just going to run it. So run. And we actually want to reverse this. So let's do, this would be D LROW space OLLEH. So we should get hello world out after we run this. And now we're gonna for each over the events. For each var event in run dot new it gets all events emitted by the workflow since the last access to run. Gets all events emitted by workflow. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay, so basically if you call run multiple times, right? So if you call run once and then you call run again, whenever you access the new events object, it will just be the events that have accumulated since those run calls. So yeah, we'll do new events. And then this is the event they're looking at. They're saying var event is executor completed event. We'll write it. In this case, it looks like there is a ID that you can access. Completed event dot executor ID, and then you have access to some amount of data. It looks like completed event dot data. And I'm guessing data is just whatever you hand back at the very end, because I think this is typed to an object. Yeah. So this is typed to an object. So this is where they're obviously doing a lot with like generics to make this all nice and type safe, but at the end of the day, they don't really know what's going to come back from your workflow. I wonder if you can type this workflow. Can you type this? Like if I type this to string. Oh, but these are events, right? So this is something they can't really know. Even if they were to use generics or something, you can't really figure out based on the event. Okay, so let's run this and see if we get anything out. Now, I don't think we're going to get anything out because we didn't call that with output from. So we'll say .NET run. Nice. So text. So this is each step in the. Oh no, we will, because we're listening to executor completed event. So then why would you put with output from? Is that because I don't know why you would do that. Maybe this run object has something on it. Run dot status ID outgoing events new events. No, it doesn't have a. Huh. I'm guessing there's some sort of probably some sort of event type for that. So like event dot is output. Oh, there we go. See this workflow output event. See if do we ever reach this? We never. Okay, so then what if I did dot with output from like that? Does anything new get logged? Oh, there we go. So that final thing okay, so that's the difference. Interesting. Okay, so that's why you would call that. If you wanted that executor's output to be yielded as an output event, and you wanted to just check for that particular event type, because I'm guessing these events become super helpful when you're not running this, but you're streaming it, right? So if I did something like what would this be? This would be stream async, which means this. What does this become? Streamer run does not contain a definition. So I think this means that then I have to do something like run to completion async, process all events, asynchronously streams the workflow events as they occur. Yeah, so then you could do something like this. What do I have to pass in here? Oh, I gotta go to the beginning of the line. I gotta say await. Yeah. So this way you can yield the events and you can react to events while it's running. So this means then it'll print sequentially. I mean, obviously that all happened at once, but if we were to add some delay here, like let's add await task dot delay. 1 second. Sorry guys, I don't mean to ignore you. I kind of feel like I'm getting a handle on what's on this code, and so I'm trying to follow that. And then that means I don't need to wrap these guys. So I'm not 100% certain I need to wrap them. I kind of feel like that might be an issue with OmniSharp. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, text corrector. Yeah, okay, cool, very cool. Yeah, I like that a lot. So I could see how you can start building primitives up around this, right? And I'm guessing you could implement multiple message handlers. Like you could probably handle something for an int, and then you just have to add a new handle async method. Yeah, that's cool. So then they're probably doing something with reflection, right? Or they have some sort of, oh, I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something to figure out whenever a message arrives to this executor of a particular type, then call the correct handler. So I wonder what they do if I have multiple handlers that have the same signature. Like I'm guessing you can't do that. Like you can't have this. Like that collides, right? Yeah, it's already listed. Okay. Well, there you go. That makes it easy. All right, I like this. I'm kind of digging it so far. Wilo Gamer Pro, what are you doing? This is a framework called Agent Framework from Microsoft, and I'm basically just exploring it, trying to learn about it. I think I'd like to try to build something with it. Rohith, are you done with office work? Yeah, I'm done for the day. I wrapped up midday, like 1 o'clock. I told the team I was going to take my parents are coming to my parents are coming to visit, or my mom's coming to visit, and I decided to take the afternoon off and then just stream and wait for them to get here. So I'll probably stream till either they arrive or my kids come home. Sorry, I got distracted by some messages. Okay, what do we want to do next with this? Okay, so that was a simple workflow. I think I want to understand. So this workflow. So this is kind of interesting because you could basically use this framework to really build workflows that have nothing to do with talking to LLMs, which is kind of cool. Like you could just have agents that are just 100% deterministic. Or that you really need agents, right? It's just a workflow that's all deterministic executor code. But I think I want to understand how then I would take this and add like LLM based executors to this. So I think I'm gonna dig in here and see if I can find an example where they wire these up to like a chat. Okay, so we say streaming. Oh, we just did this. LOL. Yeah, so we just did this. So this is the stream version, which is awesome. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay, this is probably where I want to go. Agents in workflows. Okay, this sample introduces the use of AI agents as executors within a workflow, right? So you've got this. It's important. I think we separate those two. So you have the executor, which is just a building block. The executor is just a building block for the workflows. The executor can basically arbitrarily do whatever. But in this case, they're going to have it use... shit, I lost my place. They're going to have it use agents. So in this case, we're doing translation. The agents are connected sequentially, creating a translation chain that demonstrates how AI-powered components can be seamlessly integrated into a workflow pipeline. So here's our chat client, which we already did earlier. Then they have some helper method they're calling called getTranslationClient, which does what? They're passing in the language and the chat client. So they're just all using the same chat client. And then getTranslationAgent. Oh, okay, so all they're doing with getTranslationAgent is they are creating a new chat client agent. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's too low. Hold on. They're creating a new chat client agent, but they're just giving it a unique set of instructions. So they're saying you are a translation assistant that translates the provided text to whatever target language. So we'll start with the French, then go to Spanish, then English, then Spanish, then English. So we'll start with Hello World. Agent run update event. Ooh. So this must be, again, another framework provided event where the agents do this. They trigger this event when they do something. So I wonder why they use agent run event versus executor, right? Because if we look at the other example, they use... It isn't agent run. It's executor completed. So I wonder what the difference between agent run and executor completed is. I guess we could probably log both and see. See you, Arvin. Have a good day, man. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using multiple elements in an agent communication? Why? And just making a better AI model which handles everything. And how does the number of layers versus number of neurons in a layer affect the AI? That one I don't know. As far as like what are the advantages and disadvantages of using multiple elements in an agent communication? I mean, I think the more convoluted, the larger and more complex you get, right? I think the harder it is to orchestrate. But obviously, you can probably express more with more elements in your just making a better AI model which handles everything. Well, yeah, I don't know if... I mean, at this point, AI models can't handle everything. They have to be provided with some amount of deterministic code to do stuff, right? Like an AI model can't by its very nature read the file system. It just outputs text, right? Or at least that's what LLMs do. They just output text. So like, you can't have an LLM that knows, like, you can't have at least at this point, an LLM can't like reach down into the file system API of your OS and read a file, right? So that's why you have to provide some amount of like deterministic code to the LLM that the LLM can request to call. Yeah, so I don't think you'll necessarily be able to create a model that does what people are trying to accomplish with agents. At least in my head, that's what I think at this point. Okay. New workflow. New project too. So it's .NET new console out. Let's call this translation example. Right? Yeah, translation example. And then we just need to... Well, actually, hold on. I want to copy something from this guy. So I'll copy the packages. I mean, what is the advantage of making multiple agents in agent hierarchy versus one agent which does everything? Like, I can create multiple agents, right? Give me an example where I should need it. Well, because there is some evidence that as the number of tools you give an LLM increases, the accuracy and consistency with which the LLM uses the tools decreases, right? So what you're talking about is you're talking about basically having one ginormous prompt where it's like, you're an omnipotent god that can do everything, and then you're gonna dump this huge JSON schema into your prompt that's like, read a file, get the weather. Like, you just have all these tools, all these functions that the LLM can request to call. There is some evidence to show that like it gets worse as that increase, and then at some point you're going to hit the context window. So you're probably going to end up going the multiple agents routes because you're going to want to try to improve the consistency and accuracy, and you're going to sort of segment off things, because an agent is really just an organizational structure, right? It's a way to organize a prompt with some tools, right? And then you can sort of wire those agents together how you want. Because you're right, you could definitely have like an omnipotent agent that has like every ability known to mankind and just has all these tools and all these functions, but I think the performance degrades pretty quickly. Doesn't the model context protocol solve the context problem? Not really, because the model context protocols, again, is you're just informing the LLM. You still have to inform the LLM that it has access to all these tools. So if you wire up, 150 MCP servers to an MCP client, that's still a ton of reasoning, right? There's still a ton of context stuffing and the LLM, like historically, they get worse and worse the larger and the more bloated the context gets. Like, if I want file management tools, I can request all the tools which are associated with file management. Yeah, but so what you're talking about, Suas, is you're talking about like an agent, like an orchestration. But that's fundamentally not how, like, what you described is not fundamentally how it works. Like, when you send a request to the LLM, I guess you could do that, but you'd have to tell the LLM, you'd have to say, here's the set of tools, right? You'd be like, here's the suite of tools that you have access to. You have access to a file management set of tools. And then you'd have to somehow have it respond back to you and say, I'd like to use the file management tools. And then you'd have to handle that case, create the right prompt, create the subsequent prompt with the right tools injected, then send it back. Versus like, versus like the agent is just a way to express that, where like what you described is like you'd have an agent who sort of sits at the top, right? Like the orchestrator. Um, and the orchestrator would know about the file management agent. That would be how you would kind of orchestrate it. Um, yeah, it's really just an organizational thing. But you can't just, I mean, you can. I just don't think it's going to work very well. Like, it's not going to work very well to dump all the tools into a single prompt and send it off. Rohith, how do you stay updated with everything going on in AI? Do you explore all new tools, or at least know someone testing them out? I explore a lot of them myself, and then I just try to stay engaged. I guess, Rohith, I try to pay attention to what's going on around me and stay up with X. You're not going to be able to stay up with all of it, though, you know. And there's no need to stay up with all of it, right? Like trying to keep up with all the models, like who's got what model, like what. Like I think Claude just released 4.5 this week, right? So it's like I think the key is to stay up on the basics. You know, to conceptually understand what people are talking about, conceptually understand an LM, conceptually understand what it means to build an agent. Um, and then I think it's probably behooves you as a developer to explore the the frameworks or the libraries in your like tech stack or your language ecosystem that you can leverage for these things, right? Like it's probably good to be aware of like what API would, or what library would you use to interact with the Gemini API in your language, right? Or what's a good AI framework for your language, right? Like if you're in Python world, probably want to look at LangChain. So I don't I think you would stress yourself out if you're like, man, I need to stay, you know, if I need to keep up with everything, right? I think the key is to just kind of understand things at a conceptual level, like be T-shaped, right? Be T-shaped. Maybe go deep in your language on specific tooling in your area that's relevant to the kind of work you do, but then, you know, be aware of what's going on around you. See, also, let's see. You just told me A, so I should do B. Then I would use the output from A, B to do D. Then finally, should return the output. Think between. It's very important. I think it's how we make a best agent. These. Well, what you just described to us is just like a traditional agent flow. I don't think there's anything unique about that. That's how you build a. That's how you build an agentic loop. Yeah. Yeah, I think you just described like what Copilot does and what OpenCode. You just described what all these agentic systems, or what an agent looks like, right? An agent. That's what an agent does. Is it just takes a user query, takes a goal, sits on a loop, calls tools or functions that it thinks it needs to call, constructs a response. If it needs to call more tools, it calls more tools. So yeah, I don't necessarily know if that was anything you shared was like new to me. Hey, what's up, Lamp? How are you? Had to switch from Linux to Windows since it broke. Linux broke? Oh, that's most people say. Most people usually would say Windows broke. You know, most people complain about Windows being unstable, not Linux. Hey, what's up, Gun Highs? Oh, hi, you're still here. I got a break. Yeah, I'm still here. I decided I would take a long stream this afternoon. I basically said that I would stream until somebody else got home, either my mom or my wife and kids, which my kids get out of school at like 3:50, and I don't know, my folks should be here at some point this afternoon. They were supposed to get on the road, I think, around noon, but I'm not sure they made it there. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure they left. so I don't know when they'll be here. So the stream will likely end very abruptly because I'll have to go answer the door. Suhas, they don't think between function calls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. I mean, you call the function and then you return the original or the the pre-existing conversation with the result of the function, and you send that back to the LLM. So they do. I mean, that is them thinking, right? Like you're not prompting them to think, but like they have to get the result back before they can construct the final response. Lamp. No, the super chat menu won't load. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, man, that sucks. Well, we all have problems. But glad to have you here, Lamp. I'm glad you have a Windows machine to back up your Linux machine. Hey, Abu, how are you? It's been a while. How are you, man? I'm good. It's good to see you. No, I'm talking about final response in between the function recall, in between the function calls. Yeah. I mean, just to like be very pedantic about it, right? What we're talking about here is user, LLM with function call, user with function result, right? So this is the user. The user has to return this, right? Because it's not really the user, like it's not the person who typed in the box, but the user's, the system that the user is using is the one that ran the code that got the result. So that has to go back. Then the LLM responds, right? So at this point in the loop, right? This all goes back to the LLM to build a final response. So in my opinion, when the LLM is thinking about what to say back to the user, they're factoring in all the information that's available at that time. That's what I'm trying to say. I guess what you're saying is you should have some step here where you explicitly do something, or you should have some step here where you explicitly do something. I guess is what you mean. But yeah, I guess nothing you're saying strikes me as being groundbreaking or shattering. It all sounds like what people are already doing with agents today. Vanilla Arches Grub, bro. I have no idea what you're talking about, Lamp. See, instead of that user question function call, then think like reasoning, then function call, another function call. When the task is done, final output. Yeah, I think you're just playing. I think you're just talking in semantics. Like the order of operate. You're thinking of like a very specific order of operations, which it's like you can order those operations however you want. I mean, they're just API. They're just API requests. So if you want to do something in between, you can. I mean, you can definitely implement it however you're thinking about implementing it. Abu, great. How everything is going? What are you working on right now? Yeah, everything's good. I'm healthy. Family's healthy. Life's well. Job's fine. Right now, what I'm working on is Microsoft introduced this new framework. I know, another framework, but it's for building AI agents. And what I want to say about it. Oh, I guess what I should say about it is Microsoft basically had some existing tooling out there for doing this kind of thing. They had semantic kernel for the Python and C# people, and then they also had another framework called Autogen for Python people. And basically, this new thing is basically them trying to consolidate all of that, all of those into one place. And so far, it's looks really cool, and I would like to try to build something useful for myself with it. And I'm thinking I might build like my own personal kind of like blog ghostwriter, which is misleading because I don't mean like I'm going to have AI write my blog posts. I mean, I am, but I'm not just going to have them write it and publish it. It's more of just like an AI ghostwriter intern type of situation where it's like, hey, and then I will like edit it and change it and modify it so it aligns more with my style and voice. So yeah, so I'm just exploring this at the moment. Rohith, what are your views on Chinese open source models? They almost match the performance of state-of-the-art closed source and proprietary models while offering significantly cheaper API costs. Yeah, I'm not opposed to using open source AI models from China. I don't think I've used DeepSeek. I don't know of any others. I've not used DeepSeek's API, but yeah, why not? Yeah, why not? Lamp, I can't donate right now. No worries. There's no need to donate. No need to. How did you grow up? Like, what kind of environment? I want to know how a typical American grow up. Well, I don't know if there's anything typical about anybody's life experience, but yeah, like generically, my childhood was very much kind of a middle class, lower middle class to middle class, you know, childhood in the United States. Both I was born to two healthy, white Americans, so there's a lot of privilege there. Grew up in a nice town, small town, not terribly small, not terribly big. Played a lot of sports growing up. It's pretty normal. Do you guys use gun shots to greet each other? No. Yeah, that's a little bit further south. I'm just kidding. No, yeah, no, nothing like that. But it's pretty typical. Abu. So, are you getting into AI space like AI agent, LLM, MCP, etc.? I wouldn't say I'm like getting into it. I would say I've been in it for a while, like exploring. I've built several things with LLMs for the last almost at this point 24 months. Like I've been kind of involved with quite a few AI related projects at work, and I've built a few AI related things outside of work, and you can't really ignore it, right? Because like the market is very heavily saturated in those technologies at the moment, so it kind of you'd be dumb not to pay attention and not to sort of dip your toes in and be able to speak on it or talk about it or use it. But I'm not like wholesale changing my entire focus to those technologies. Bro is missing out. Quinn is really good. Quinn. Is that something you can get on Ollama? Is Quinn an Ollama model? I mostly use Ollama for like open source stuff because it's just super easy to use. How do you spell it? Quinn? This one? Or you spelled Quen, but I'm guessing it's this one. It's a pre-trained by, it's Alibaba. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know Alibaba was doing stuff with large language models. Oh, and they have an embeddings model too. That's cool. Qwen 2 Math is a series of specialized math language models built upon Qwen 2 LLMs. Significantly outperforms the mathematical capabilities of open source models and even closer. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard people say good things about Ollama, and I have nothing but good things to say about Ollama. I've also heard people talk about something called Llama CP, CPP, CPP, C++. I don't know what you could call it. I haven't used it, but I've heard people say good things about this. The fact of the matter, though, is for me personally, I just don't have the hardware locally to really use these open source models locally effective. Like I don't have a dedicated GPU, and some of these bigger models I can't even fit them into memory. I only have on this machine I have 64 gigabytes RAM, but everything else I have less than that, and so I can't. I can run them, I can use them, but I can't really use them like productively, I guess is a good word. Abu, small town is great to live in. Yeah, the town I grew up in, it was, I think, the perfect size because it wasn't too small to where like you sort of knew everyone, but it wasn't so big that it felt like you felt disconnected from the community, you know? So there's definitely like a either end of the spectrum you go is not necessarily ideal, but if you can find a like a happy medium, it's always nice. Rohith, check LM Arena leaderboard to see AI model rankings. Oh, okay. LM Arena, which I wonder how they build these rankings. Oh, did it say on the front? What did it say? An open platform for evaluating AI through human preference. So it's just based on other humans ranking AI. Battle with two anonymous models. What the hell? Oh, leaderboard. See how leading models stack up. Learn more about it here. So how do they get to these rankings? Oh, so they do use users. Users vote on the preferred response. Interesting. So people prefer Gemini for text, and they prefer ChatGPT for web development. Let's see, Gemini Pro for vision. Gemini Pro is very good. I pay for that service, and it is very good. And then there's the image editing, searching. Oh, people prefer Grok for. That's surprising. I didn't even know a lot of people were using Grok. That's surprising. This is a cool site. I didn't know this existed. Oh, and people rank models specifically for Copilot. Yeah, because when you go into Copilot, you can choose. So that's pretty cool. So people rank. Oh, 4.5's in there now. Oh, I have to enable access. Very cool. Yeah, this is one of my favorite features of Copilot is being able to switch between all these different models. That's cool. Thanks for the recommendation, Rohith. That's a very cool website. I'll have to remember that one. Test your web development prompts at web.lmarena.ai. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love how it only focuses on vibes instead of bullshit made up benchmark. Yeah. Nothing wrong. There's vibes are vibes, and if you have a consistent way of collecting the scores, and then you have a consistent way of analyzing them, it's a lot like a stock price in that sense, right? I mean, a stock price is what it's what the hive mind, right, through buying and selling, arrives at as the market price. So it's kind of interesting to sort of almost apply that to like an LLM benchmark where you're just basically saying, well, we're just going to have people rank and responses and then aggregate them, and we'll just let the hive mind decide which is the best. Could I ask you a question far from what we talk in here? Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, I'm always happy. I may not have a good take on it, but happy to offer my input. Let's see, what was I gonna do? I was gonna Build another workflow is what I was going to do, wasn't it? Okay, so basic workflow, and then what was I doing in here? I was copying the packages. This is what happens when you do too much context shifting. Context switching. Oh, I think I want to stick with it. That's fine. You know what though? I just realized something. As I was sitting here thinking, after us talking about all those different models. I don't know if there's a way to switch my Copilot NeoVim setting, because I know like in VS Code, right? If I open Visual Studio and I open chat here, new chat. Yeah, so if I open chat here, I have the switcher, so I can switch between the Copilot stuff here, but I don't think in the NeoVim plugin, that might be a reason to check out Sidekick. I still haven't given Sidekick a try, but let's see. Copilot in Vim. Is there a model switcher in there? I don't think there is. Disable, enable, setup, sign out. Open a window up to 10 completions. Panel, version, feedback. Let's see, file types. Oh, I guess there's some options. So maybe I can set it in the options. Copilot node, command, enterprise, proxy. Huh. That's unfortunate. You would think they would give you a way to set what model. Huh. That's disappointing. Hey, what's up, Oxnell? How are you? Sorry, I missed your hello earlier, Oxnell, and I just completely lost track. Abu asked, "What do you think about Israel doing to Gaza?" I think it's terrible, man. Anytime there's a war between two nation states, it's awful, and honestly, most of the times, the people that suffer the worst are the people who are not involved in the conflict at all, right? They're just trying to live their life, so it's awful. You know what happened? What was it on October 7th of last year, the year before? That was terrible. You know, and so I can empathize with the Israelis feeling provoked, but obviously it's awful to start a conflict in which so many people suffer on either side. I'm not sure though, like I'm not sure what you can do there. You know, I'm not sure how to make that better. It's beyond me, and it predates me, right? The conflict in that area of the world. So I don't think I have anything really intelligent or smart to say about it other than just, yeah, it's shitty. It's shitty all the way around. Manish, how did you beautify your Windows terminal? Do you have any config? Yeah, Manish, yeah, let me get you hooked up here. So I use PowerShell excuse me. I use PowerShell as my terminal of choice, and I use something called Oh My Posh as the thing that allows me to configure it and make it look cool. Which, if you're familiar with like Oh My ZSH, it's really similar to that. My configurations, I have them, they're spread out. I need to actually probably consolidate some of this into one place for people to reference it. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. This is by Oh My Posh. Let's see, copy link. Copy link. I'll say at Manish. This is my Oh My Posh configs. And then this is my PowerShell profile. So this is what kind of adds some of the flavor functionality that I have in my PowerShell profile. And full disclosure, most of this, I actually say it here. Where is it? Right here. So mostly it's stolen from this man, Scott Hanselman. A lot of this, I've added things here and there over the last couple of years, but most of it's from him. So I'll link this one too. Copy link at Manish. Here is my PowerShell profile. There you go. And then Manish, if you're really interested in kind of going through that nitty gritty a little bit more, there's actually a really great YouTube video that Scott Hanselman posted. Scott Hanselman Terminal. That's it. Or that's the search that always brings it up for me. This one right here. It's a little long, right? It's very long. But this was the video that inspired me to get a proper terminal set up. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you should check him out. You should also subscribe to his channel. He's got just such great content. He's a super nice guy too. Probably nicest guy on the internet. Let's see, I'll just paste that in the chat there. There you go. But yeah, that's where my terminal comes from. Oh, and also I'm using Windows Terminal. So it's PowerShell in Windows Terminal. I don't know if that is also helpful. Damn, we got Oh My Posh before. Yeah. Do you, let's see, that area was in conflict since the Crusade. Yeah, I mean, there's been, I'm not saying that's the only place in the world there's ever been conflict. It's just those conflicts predate me. And I wish I had something more intelligent to say about them, but I just don't. Suha said, it's not worth setting up everything in Windows. Linux is just superior. Well, you know, everyone's allowed to have opinions. Manish, thanks for the brief. Of course, yeah, hopefully those will get you pointed in the right direction. And obviously you can make it, you know, wholly your own. I know Scott in his YouTube video, he's actually a type 1 diabetic. So he actually has his insulin pump. He has some kind of setup to where he basically can see his blood sugar in his terminal, which is really cool. I think he has a service, or he self-hosts a service that talks to his insulin pump, and I think that service provides some sort of API, and he basically must have a script, or I can't remember exactly how he does it, but you can configure it to do all kinds of things. Like one of the things I want to add to mine is I'd like to add the time, because a lot of times I find myself glancing down to the right to see what time it is. But yeah, the time would be good here. Oh, thank you, Manish. I appreciate you for subscribing, Tim. If you are against human, then you have to be on the side. They are suffering 77 years on their land. I'm just, yeah, I'm not going to be forced into picking a side. The side I am on is on humanity, and so my hope would be that at some point they would stop fighting, and that there will hopefully come to some sort of peaceful resolution. So I think what Hamas did was terrible. I think what Israel is obviously doing is not great either. But someone has to stop. Someone has to de-escalate it. Some sort of agreement has to be reached. Optional. I just use Linux because I really want to avoid the restrictions that our SOC and IT put on us in my workplace. So you use Linux to like circumvent your company's IT. I like it. I like it a lot. Hacker ethos. My watch keeps going off. I think my family's actually going to beat my mom here. My kids should be home in 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay. What else do we need? Let's see. We also need to copy our editor config. We need to copy the app settings. And then what else do we need to do here? We need to go into our program.cs. We need to basically paste in a lot of that code that's in the basic example. So we can go here, and we basically steal some of this. Not all of it is going to stay. And delete that. Paste this stuff. Oh, that's the YouTube link. That's not what I want. I always forget to yank to the correct buffer. Okay, so we basically, the only thing I want out of here is I want the configuration and I want the Gemini client. I don't care about the agent. And let's get back to our examples here. We're looking at the translation example. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I don't know. It ran away from me. Monkey need to free a man. Okay, all right. Well, let's not make it too political in here. We not risking my life other than praying for the end of suffering. I know we're talking. I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about here. Manish, I hate CMD, but I think PowerShell have Linux-like commands. Reason I'm asking is I use Fedora with Windows in my VM, planning on getting Windows Desktop as a secondary device. It does have Linux-like commands. Basically, there's a lot of in PowerShell. There are a lot of commands that are already alias to Linux-like commands. So RM is similar to Linux, but RM is really just an alias to the like PowerShell equivalent. Same thing with LS. There's several operations there. So, like I forget what is the let's see, GitHub Copilot suggest GitHub Copilot suggest T shell. What is PowerShell equivalent to LS? Like I only use LS, so like, but under the hood it's calling a PowerShell this get child item. It's alias to that. So you can very much recreate a in PowerShell you can recreate sort of a Linuxy set of commands if you want. But obviously it's not really Linux, right? You're not really using Linux commands. So, it's totally up to you. PowerShell is open source too, so if you want to use PowerShell on Linux, you can. PowerShell 7 So if you want to, you're welcome to. Manish, what are you building? So, Manish, I'm working on trying to build some sort of agentic app to help me write blogs. But the reason I'm wanting to build that is because Microsoft released this new framework called the Agent Framework, and I'd really like to know it. I'd really like to know how to use it, and so I want to build something with it. But that right now, what I'm doing is I'm basically just going through and trying to understand like what are the primitives of this framework, how do they connect to one another, so that it will hopefully help inform me to actually build something with it. This is kind of my process for learning. Anytime I learn a new API or a new library or new technology, I kind of explore it. Like I crawl in it, look at the source code, try to run through some of the examples, try to re-implement some of them with slightly different twists. That's just kind of part of my learning, you know. Abu, sorry if you find my questions irrelevant. I don't find them irrelevant, Abu. I mean, I agree what's going. I agree what's going on over there is shitty. Um, but like, there's no good in us having a debate about which side is more in the wrong here on Stephen Freeborn's YouTube channel. It's just not. I don't think it's a good use of time. Let's see. LS works, dir works. Nothing's stopping anyone from using Cywin. Yeah, exactly. So if you want to get a true Linux, I mean, there's WSL too, in that same vein. So if you wanted to have a Linuxy experience on a Windows machine, you most definitely can. Most definitely can. I hope you don't make your blog bad. I don't want more AI slop. Project-based learning. Yeah, project-based learning is wonderful. But I always find that if I start by if I don't go through the documentation, if I don't do some of the initial getting started, then I have no mental model to go into the project with. So I like to sort of build at least somewhat of a little bit of a mental model first, then go and build the project. That's just my process. I don't plan on making AI slop, Suhas. So the whole point of having kind of like an AI blog intern is just so that a lot of the times when I think about writing a blog, I never get around doing it because I start from a blank page and I find that a little bit overwhelming and my time is already limited. And so I think, I'm not going to do it. So it would be nice if I could just start with like a rough draft, even if that rough draft is 25 or, even 25% of the way to what you would consider done. It's at least something that I can start reacting to and whittling away and changing and revising until it sounds like me and says what I want to say, expresses what I want to express. So yeah, that's my plan. That's my thought with using it, and it's also a good excuse to build something. Manish, WSL is terminal only. Yes, but you can have a Ubuntu GUI there too. Obviously, like terminal, but if you wanted an Ubuntu GUI, you could have one. Not like but it's not going to be like your full machine. Just to be clear, it won't. You won't be able to like replicate the full Linux Ubuntu experience, like your whole machine like being taken over. But if you wanted to have a Linux-like experience, you could have it. Plus, if that was the case, like if you wanted a Linux GUI, why not just then run a Linux machine? A full blown. Mochi, what is that browser called? This is this browser is Edge. It's Microsoft Edge. See ya, Boo. Have a good night, man. Sleep well. What is that browser? Do you recommend the browser is Edge? Do I recommend Linux as a desktop environment? I mean, beyond like, if that's what you want to use, go for it. I've used one Linux desktop environment and it was Ubuntu, and I only have used it maybe for a whole week in cumulative use. Most of the interaction I have with a Linux operating system is through the command line on servers that I host stuff on. So I can't. It's difficult for me to like. Yes, you should totally go use it because I haven't used it that much. Let's see. I was there a few minutes ago. Lucky we came. Where were you guys at? Viv Universe 158. Who's that? That's hilarious. You guys came from the same live stream? I don't know who that YouTuber is, but that is hilarious. Oh yeah, he does coding stuff too, huh? Oh man, he's young. That's pretty cool. Oh, he does a variety of content. That's really cool. Looks like a lot of Python. Nice. Well, that's cool that you guys ended up over here. That's kind of funny. I guess the YouTube algorithm is at work there. Mochi, we were at a very small streamer stream. Well, I mean, I'm a very small streamer. I mean, if that guy's small, I mean, that guy has 2,400 subs. I don't even have 2,400 subs. So if he's small, I'm tiny. Oh, he's a college kid learning coding. Very cool. Yeah, that's probably a lot of fun. Man, the messages just keep blowing up my phone. What are you cooking? Nothing. No cooking here. Just coding. Coding and learning, you know? No cooking though. Although I'm kind of hungry. I haven't eaten today. I would very much like to eat. Alright, so we need to create our AI agents. Okay, so this is where they're using this helper function here, which really all it does is it just customizes the instructions. Oh yeah, it's not. Internal is though. Cooking means what are you doing? It's the slang, bro. Very old. Well, I am a 32-year-old dad, so sometimes I don't pick up on all the slang. But I thought maybe pitcho really meant like, hey, what are you cooking? But if he meant the slang of like, yo, what are you up to? Uh, then yeah, I'm coding and learning then. Steven, you using C# or .NET? Well, so just to be clear, C#'s the language, .NET's the platform. So I'm using both. C# is what I author my code in, and then .NET is the platform on which I run that code using the Common Language Runtime. So .NET, I think .NET supports 3 languages currently. I guess 3 primary languages, right? It supports C#, F#, and VB.NET. .NET languages. Yeah, C#, F Sharp, Visual Basic.NET. And those all get compiled to an intermediate language, which the CLR knows what to do with. So to answer your question, I'm using both. C Sharp's probably C Sharp is my favorite language. At this stage of my programming life, it is for sure my favorite language. So are you upset that I'm calling you old? I just do it for fun. Please don't get offended. No, I know I'm old. I am old for the YouTube. I feel like I'm old for the YouTube world. Although I said this the other day, Casey Neistat, you know, he was kind of like the king of YouTube for a while. I might kind of still consider him the king of YouTube. Yeah, he was 34 when he started his vlog. He started his vlog on his 34th birthday, and I'm only 32. So if we go by that, then maybe I'm young, but I just sometimes I feel old. Okay. I'm actually, instead of doing this static function down here, I'm gonna do this. Var create agent. Create agent is gonna be equal to a little lambda, and it is going to say target language, and we're also going to take our iChat client. And what are we going to do? We're going to return, or no, we're just going to do new. I never see people do this very much in C Sharp. Like I bet there's a lot of people that don't know you can do inline functions like that. Oh, I guess I can make this static. What's this complaining about? The delicate type cannot be inferred. What do you mean? Oh, because I didn't type this. This needs to be a new chat client agent. And this is client. That. And then you can say var French agent. You can do that. Now it looks kind of like, it looks a little bit like TypeScript, don't it? A little bit like JavaScript when you do it like that. Actually, this should probably be, yeah, I mean, it has to be lowercase or it violates my variable naming, but do you know the Hank and John Green brothers? I do know them. Yeah, they make good content. Manish, I just have one question because I know very less about .NET ecosystem. Have you worked on cross-platform applications using C# or .NET, and what extent they are cross-compatible? So if you're using .NET Core, which is basically, if you're using .NET Core, the applications are cross-compatible. Like you can compile it to work on Linux, Mac, or Windows. You just have to specify what you're targeting. If you're using .NET Framework, then that's only compatible with Windows. But yeah, modern .NET is cross-compatible, cross-platform compatible. Just out of the box, it just works. That's kind of an old stigma that hangs around with .NET because .NET was historically kind of tied to Windows. It had Windows APIs baked into it. Yeah, but they made that switch. Well, we're on .NET 10 now, or we're getting ready to be on .NET 10. We're on .NET 9. So that is like almost 10 years since they made the switch from framework to core. It's been a while. It's been cross-platform for a while. Oh, I think my kids are home. Yep. The family is here. Well, guys, it's been fun hanging out. I think I'm gonna hop off and go start my weekend. Uh, I know we didn't really get to actually building the blog agent or the blog intern, but I think um, I think we will. I think I have a much better firm understanding of how I build workflows and how I can construct agents. So maybe the next time I hop on, I'll have something to show. Okay, thanks for telling this. I usually use Golang. Yeah, I started to learn Golang. I know it a little bit. I want to use Golang for Advent of Code this year. So, LOL. My phone thought I said, "Hey Google." All right, bye Manish. Bye Suhas. Anybody else is here? I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And if I don't see you tomorrow, have a great weekend. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Bye.
Thanks. You too.
Jim and I thought I was talking to him. All right. Bye, guys. See y'all.